Welcome to Artificial Fictions. We post new scary stories every day written by artificial intelligence. I hope you enjoy them.
Once upon a time, in a small, peaceful town nestled amidst towering trees, there lived a curious young girl named Emily. She had an insatiable appetite for adventure and a knack for unraveling mysteries. Emily had heard rumors of a haunted house on the outskirts of town, a place shrouded in darkness and terror. Intrigued, she decided to explore the house and uncover its secrets. As Emily approached the old, dilapidated structure, an eerie chill ran down her spine. The house stood tall and foreboding, its broken windows resembling sinister eyes watching her every move. Undeterred by the ominous atmosphere, Emily mustered her courage and stepped inside. The moment she crossed the threshold, the air grew thick with an unsettling energy. Shadows danced menacingly on the walls, and a faint whisper echoed through the halls. Emily's heart raced as she ventured further, her footsteps muffled by the creaking floorboards. The house seemed to come alive, with doors slamming shut and unseen figures darting in the corner of her vision. Suddenly the temperature plummeted, and Emily's breath turned to mist in front of her. She heard a haunting melody emanating from upstairs, a melancholic piano tune that sent shivers down her spine. As she ascended the stairs, the music grew louder, intensifying her unease. On the second floor, the source of the haunting melody revealed itself, a decrepit, dust-covered grand piano. Its keys played themselves, each note a symphony of terror. Emily's heart pounded in her chest as she approached the instrument. Trembling, she reached out to touch the keys, only to feel a frigid gust of wind brush against her fingertips. The house seemed to quake and groan as Emily continued her exploration. Paintings on the walls distorted, revealing twisted faces and hollow eyes that seemed to follow her every move. The portraits whispered dreadful secrets, filling the air with malevolent whispers. Emily's mind swirled with fear, her imagination conjuring nightmarish images that blurred the line between reality and the supernatural. Just as she thought she couldn't bear the escalating horror any longer, Emily stumbled upon a hidden door concealed behind a torn tapestry. The door creaked open, revealing a narrow staircase descending into impenetrable darkness. Driven by an insatiable curiosity, Emily descended, her heart pounding in her ears. As she descended into the depths, the air grew thick with a suffocating dread. She felt unseen eyes upon her, malicious presences lurking in the shadows. Her footsteps echoed ominously, mingling with distant whispers that promised unspeakable horrors. Finally, Emily reached the bottom, where she discovered a desolate chamber. In the center stood a solitary, flickering candle, casting eerie shadows on the walls. A figure cloaked in darkness emerged from the shadows, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. It whispered in a haunting voice, revealing the house's terrible secret. "You have trespassed into my domain, young one," the figure hissed. "This house is cursed, and you shall never leave." Emily's heart sank as she realized the true nature of her predicament. The house had lured her in, ensnaring her in its web of darkness. Panic consumed her as the figure advanced, its skeletal fingers reaching for her. In that chilling moment, Emily awoke from her nightmare, gasping for breath. She found herself safe in her own bed, the morning light casting reassuring warmth upon her. It was all just a dream, a terrifying journey through the realms of the unknown. But as she caught her breath, Emily couldn't shake the lingering feeling that the nightmare was more than just a figment of her imagination. She glanced at her bedroom window, half expecting to find a pair of glowing eyes peering back at her from the darkness outside. Yet the window revealed nothing but the familiar sight of her quiet neighborhood bathed in sunlight. Determined to dismiss her lingering unease, Emily rose from her bed and went about her morning routine. She tried to shake off the remnants of her nightmare, reminding herself that it was all in her mind. However, a nagging sense of foreboding continued to haunt her throughout the day. As evening descended upon the town, Emily found herself unable to resist the pull of curiosity once more. The haunted house still loomed in her thoughts, the nightmare etched vividly in her memory. She couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to that decrepit place than just a dream. With a mixture of apprehension and determination, Emily made her way towards the outskirts of town, guided by the waning light of the setting sun. The haunted house awaited her like a sinister specter, its presence growing more palpable as she approached. This time, the air felt charged with an unrelenting heaviness, a premonition of the horrors to come. The house stood before her, its facade even more dilapidated and menacing than in her dream. Its windows were now shattered, shards of glass scattered like malevolent teeth. Hesitant but resolute, Emily stepped over the threshold once again. Instantly, a shroud of darkness enveloped her, wrapping around her like icy tendrils. The familiar creaking floorboards whispered beneath her feet as the house came alive with a symphony of macabre sounds. Whispers echoed through the halls, their menacing tones swirling around her like a chilling wind. Shadows danced and contorted, assuming grotesque forms that seemed to leer at her from every corner. The house's malevolence was no longer confined to her dreams. It had seeped into reality. As Emily ventured deeper into the house, her heart pounding in her chest, she discovered rooms that defied reason and sanity. Portraits twisted and contorted, their occupants now locked in eternal torment. The walls bled with dark stains, as if crying out in agony. Unearthly moans and groans filled the air, a chorus of tormented souls that sent chills down her spine. She reached the grand staircase, only to find it transformed into a writhing mass of serpents, their eyes gleaming with malice. Fear threatened to consume her, but she pressed on, determined to uncover the truth behind this sinister place. Finally, Emily arrived at the hidden door she had discovered in her nightmare. With trembling hands, she pushed it open, revealing a realm even more terrifying than she could have imagined. The darkness within seemed alive, pulsating with an evil presence that threatened to swallow her whole. She cautiously stepped into the abyss, her every breath laden with trepidation. The whispers grew louder, their words incomprehensible yet dripping with menace. Shadows twisted and elongated, reaching out with skeletal fingers, eager to ensnare her in their grasp. As Emily navigated the labyrinthine depths, she stumbled upon a chamber unlike any she had seen before. It was a shrine to darkness, adorned with symbols of ancient malevolence. A single flickering candle cast grotesque shadows on the walls, illuminating a figure that emerged from the darkness. It was the same cloaked figure from her nightmare, the embodiment of the house's curse. Its eyes burned with an unholy fire as it spoke in a voice that seemed to echo from the depths of despair. "You have returned, young one," the figure whispered, its voice a cacophony of torment. "You are mine now." "You are mine now, bound to this wretched place forever," the figure declared, its voice resonating with a bone-chilling finality. Emily's heart pounded in her chest as she stared at the figure, her mind consumed by a mix of terror and determination. She refused to accept her fate as a prisoner of the house's curse. Summoning all her courage, she found her voice and spoke with unwavering defiance. "No, I will not be trapped here." Emily's words reverberated through the chamber, cutting through the oppressive silence. She could feel a surge of energy within her, a spark of resilience that refused to succumb to the darkness. As the figure advanced, a glimmer of defiance ignited in Emily's eyes. She reached deep within herself, drawing upon an inner strength she never knew she possessed. With a determined resolve, she uttered the words she hoped would break the shackles of the curse. "In the name of light and freedom, I command you to release me." Her voice rang out, carrying a blend of desperation and unwavering belief. The chamber trembled, as if the very foundations of the house shook with the weight of her proclamation. The figure recoiled, its eyes widening in surprise and disbelief. The grip it held on the cursed abode began to weaken, its hold crumbling under the force of Emily's unwavering spirit. Bolstered by her newfound strength, Emily pressed forward, her footsteps echoing with purpose. The shadows writhed and shrank back, their malevolence waning with each step she took. The house itself seemed to groan and protest as its power diminished, its twisted architecture crumbling under the weight of her determination. Finally, Emily reached the threshold of the chamber, stepping out into the moonlit night. The darkness that once clung to her dissipated, replaced by the cool embrace of freedom. The haunted house stood behind her, now a mere relic of her journey through fear and resilience. As Emily looked back at the once terrifying edifice, a sense of triumph washed over her. She had confronted her deepest fears and emerged victorious. The curse that had held the house captive was broken, and she was free. From that day forward, Emily became a beacon of hope for the town. She shared her story, inspiring others to confront their own fears and overcome the darkness that lurked within. The haunted house, stripped of its curse, stood as a reminder that even the most terrifying trials could be conquered with unwavering courage. And though the memory of that harrowing experience lingered, Emily embraced it as a testament to her strength and resilience. She walked through life with a newfound appreciation for the light, always mindful that even in the darkest of places, the human spirit could shine bright and banish the deepest shadows. Once upon a time, in a small village surrounded by dense woods, there lived a young boy named Tommy. He was known for his adventurous spirit and fearlessness. One fateful evening, Tommy and his friends gathered around a campfire, sharing spooky tales of the haunted forest. Intrigued by the stories, Tommy couldn't resist the temptation to explore the forbidden woods. He believed that the tales were merely exaggerated legends meant to scare people away. With his heart pounding in anticipation, he ventured into the dark, twisted trees. As Tommy delved deeper into the forest, an eerie silence enveloped him. The rustling of leaves ceased, and the chirping of nocturnal creatures faded into oblivion. A chill wind whispered through the branches, sending a shiver down his spine. Suddenly, a pair of glowing eyes appeared in the darkness, fixated on Tommy. The eyes belonged to a large, menacing wolf. Its growl reverberated through the night, paralyzing Tommy with fear. He had stumbled upon the territory of a fearsome predator. Terrified, Tommy sprinted through the labyrinthine maze of trees, desperately trying to escape the relentless pursuit of the wolf. But no matter how fast he ran, the wolf remained hot on his heels, its snarls echoing in the night. Just as Tommy felt his strength waning, he stumbled upon an old, dilapidated cabin. It stood in stark contrast to the sinister forest, an island of refuge in a sea of darkness. Without hesitation, he barged inside, seeking solace from the relentless predator. But the cabin held its own secrets. As Tommy cautiously explored the decrepit dwelling, he discovered cryptic symbols etched into the walls, whispering of dark rituals and unholy ceremonies. The air grew heavy with a malevolent presence, and a foreboding presence lurked in every corner. In the depths of the cabin, Tommy encountered a forbidden book, its pages filled with ancient incantations and chilling illustrations. As he leafed through the sinister tome, the very air around him seemed to crackle with supernatural energy. Unbeknownst to Tommy, his curiosity had awakened an ancient evil that lurked within the forest. The ground beneath him trembled, and the cabin's walls twisted and contorted. Shadows danced with a life of their own, taunting him with their grotesque forms. With a bone-chilling howl, the wolf burst through the door, its eyes gleaming with a sinister light. The beast had been merely an instrument of the darkness, a pawn in the hands of a far more sinister force. Tommy's heart pounded in his chest as he realized the true horror of the situation. As the wolf lunged at him, Tommy mustered every ounce of strength and recited an incantation from the forbidden book. The words tumbled from his trembling lips, weaving through the air with a desperate plea for salvation. In an instant, the cabin erupted into a cataclysmic explosion of malevolent energy. Darkness consumed everything, and Tommy found himself in a realm of nightmares, a twisted dimension of torment and despair. Haunted by apparitions and tormented by his deepest fears, Tommy fought to maintain his sanity. The malicious entities that lurked in the shadows toyed with his mind, distorting his perceptions and sowing seeds of terror. Yet in the darkest hour, a flicker of determination ignited within Tommy. He refused to surrender to the encroaching madness. With a defiant roar, he banished the sinister forces back to the depths from whence they came. When the darkness finally receded, Tommy found himself lying on the forest floor, gasping for breath. The haunted forest had returned to its eerie stillness, as if the horrors he had faced were mere figments of his imagination. But the memory of his harrowing ordeal lingered, etched deep within his soul. Tommy emerged from the forest, forever changed by his encounter with the supernatural. He carried with him the scars of that night, a reminder of the darkness that existed beyond the realm of human comprehension. The villagers, unaware of the horrors that lurked nearby, marveled at his newfound resilience. From that day forward, Tommy became a guardian of the village, ever watchful for signs of the encroaching darkness. He shared his story, cautioning others against venturing into the haunted forest. The legends and tales were no longer mere stories to him. They were cautionary truths, a warning of the malevolence that awaited the unwary. As years passed, The village thrived under Tommy's watchful eye. The haunted forest, once a source of fear and trepidation, was avoided by all. The whispers of its dark secrets faded into distant memory. But on the anniversary of that fateful night, a chilling wind swept through the village, carrying with it a faint echo of the past. Shadows danced in the moonlight, and whispers of long-forgotten incantations filled the air. The ominous presence of the forest lingered, a reminder that the line between safety and terror was fragile and easily breached. Tommy, now an old man, recognized the signs. He knew that the evil he had once vanquished was stirring once again. With a heavy heart and a determination that burned as brightly as ever, he set out into the night, ready to face the encroaching darkness one last time. The haunted forest awaited him, its twisted trees reaching out like gnarled fingers. Tommy braced himself, knowing that this battle would be his greatest yet. The ancient evil had grown stronger, fueled by the fear and vulnerability of those who had forgotten the village's dark past. As Tommy ventured deeper into the heart of the forest, the air grew suffocating, heavy with the stench of malevolence. Shadows writhed and twisted, their forms elongated and grotesque. Whispers echoed through the trees, the voices of forgotten souls seeking release. At the heart of the forest, Tommy found a portal, a gateway between worlds. Beyond it lay the source of the darkness, a formless entity hungry for power and domination. Tommy knew that to protect his village, he had to confront the entity head-on. With a resolute gaze and a heart fortified by years of battles fought, Tommy stepped into the portal, entering a realm of nightmarish chaos. The entity, a swirling mass of darkness, loomed before him, its tendrils stretching out with malicious intent. But Tommy refused to yield. He channeled every ounce of courage he possessed, standing tall in the face of unspeakable terror. With a voice that trembled with determination, he called upon the light within him, the unwavering spirit that had guided him through countless trials. The light burst forth, engulfing the darkness in a blinding radiance. The entity recoiled, its malevolence withering in the face of Tommy's unwavering resolve. With each step forward, the light pushed back the darkness, restoring balance and harmony to the realm. As the last remnants of the entity dissipated into nothingness, Tommy emerged from the portal, weary but triumphant. The haunted forest stood before him, no longer a place of dread, but a testament to the strength of the human spirit. Word of Tommy's final battle spread throughout the village, inspiring a renewed appreciation for the fragility of their peace. The tales of the haunted forest would no longer linger as mere legends. The villagers understood the importance of vigilance and the need to protect their home from the encroaching darkness. Tommy, now revered as a hero, passed down his wisdom to the next generation. He taught them to recognize the signs, to heed the whispers of ancient evil, and to stand united against the forces that sought to corrupt their world. The village thrived under their watchful eyes, and the haunted forest became a symbol of resilience and triumph. A monument was erected at its edge, a testament to the courage of those who had faced the darkness and emerged victorious. But even as the years passed and the village prospered, a faint unease remained, a reminder that evil never truly vanishes. The legends and tales would be shared around campfires, a reminder to never forget the lessons learned and to cherish the light that banished the shadows. And so, the village lived on, its people eternally vigilant, knowing that darkness would always test their resolve. They carried the legacy of Tommy, the brave soul who had faced the horrors of the haunted forest and emerged as a beacon of hope. For in the face of darkness, it is the strength of the human spirit, the unwavering belief in the power of light, that can conquer even the deepest and most terrifying fears. And as long as that belief burned bright, the village would forever stand against the encroaching darkness, a testament to the triumph of courage over fear. In a sleepy town nestled by a murky lake, there stood an old, abandoned mansion. It was said to be cursed, its walls echoing with the whispers of trapped souls. Legends spoke of a malevolent spirit that lurked within, yearning for unsuspecting victims to claim as its own. One moonlit night, a group of curious teenagers decided to test their bravery and explore the infamous mansion. They laughed and exchanged nervous glances as they approached the decaying entrance, unaware of the horrors that awaited them. As they ventured deeper into the mansion's labyrinthine halls, a chill descended upon them. The air grew heavy with a sense of foreboding, and the faint sound of distant whispers danced on the edge of their hearing. A flickering light caught their attention, a candle, casting eerie shadows on the walls. Drawn by its ethereal glow, they followed its trail deeper into the mansion, their hearts pounding in their chests. Suddenly, a door creaked open, revealing a room engulfed in darkness. Reluctantly, they entered, their flashlight beams slicing through the gloom. The room was filled with decrepit furniture, its dusty surfaces untouched for decades. But as their gaze swept across the room, a figure emerged from the shadows, a specter clad in tattered garments, its face twisted into a ghastly grin. The teenagers froze, their blood running cold as they realized they were not alone. With each passing moment, the specter grew more menacing, its ethereal form expanding and contorting. Its eyes glowed with an unholy light, fixated on the terrified teens who stood frozen in fear. Desperate to escape, they turned and fled, their footsteps echoing through the mansion's desolate halls. But no matter how fast they ran, the specter pursued them relentlessly, its chilling laughter echoing through the corridors. As they reached the grand staircase, it crumbled beneath their weight, leaving them trapped in the upper floors. Panic gripped their hearts as they realized there was no escape. They were at the mercy of the vengeful spirit. Room after room, they searched for a way out, but the mansion seemed to shift and twist, its layout ever-changing. Walls closed in on them, trapping them in claustrophobic spaces. Whispers grew louder, filling their minds with paranoia and despair. The specter appeared before them once again, its ghastly form looming closer with each passing second. Its icy touch grazed their skin, draining them of hope and strength. They were ensnared in the clutches of a malevolent force they could not comprehend. With their final breaths, they huddled together, their faces etched with terror. The specter's laughter echoed through the mansion, drowning out their desperate cries for mercy. Darkness enveloped them, consuming their very essence. And so the old abandoned mansion remained a place of eternal torment, its halls haunted by the lost souls who had dared to enter. The legends whispered through generations, a chilling reminder of the fate that awaited those who dared to challenge the realm of the supernatural. As the years passed, the town's inhabitants avoided the mansion, fearing its cursed presence. It stood as a macabre reminder that some mysteries are best left untouched, and that venturing into the realm of the unknown can lead to a fate far worse than death. And so, the cursed mansion stood, its secrets shrouded in darkness, beckoning to the foolhardy souls who dared to tread where they should not. For in the depths of its haunted halls, a malevolent specter awaited its next victims, eager to claim their souls and add them to its eternal collection. In a quiet village nestled deep in the countryside, a young girl named Emily lived with her family. One stormy night, as the rain poured relentlessly outside, a sense of unease settled upon the house. Shadows danced ominously, and the wind howled like a wounded beast. As Emily lay in bed, trying to sleep, she heard a soft scratching sound coming from her bedroom window. Curiosity overcame her fear, and she cautiously approached the window to investigate. To her horror, she saw a pair of glowing eyes peering at her through the darkness, a sinister presence lurking just beyond the glass. Trembling, she closed the curtains and huddled under her blankets, hoping it was just her imagination playing tricks on her. But the scratching persisted, growing louder and more insistent. Emily's heart pounded in her chest as the sound echoed through the room, mingling with the storm's fury outside. She knew she couldn't ignore it any longer. Summoning her courage, Emily crept towards the window once more. As she peered outside, a flash of lightning illuminated the night, revealing a gaunt figure with gnarled fingers and a twisted grin. It was a creature straight from her worst nightmares, a malevolent presence that hungered for her soul. Terrified, Emily slammed the window shut, but the creature's laughter echoed through the house, mocking her feeble attempts to escape. It was a presence that thrived on fear, feeding on her terror as it prowled closer. Emily's family, awakened by her cries, rushed to her side. They were met with disbelief as Emily recounted her encounter with the sinister creature outside her window. But the fear in her eyes was undeniable, and they knew something wicked lurked in the darkness. Together, they sought refuge in the safety of the living room, barricading themselves inside. But the creature was relentless, scratching at the front door, demanding entry into their sanctuary. Its haunting laughter filled the air, driving them to the edge of madness. As the night wore on, the family grew weaker, their spirits crumbling under the relentless assault. They were trapped, imprisoned in their own home, at the mercy of a malevolent force they couldn't comprehend. But in the darkest hour, Emily's determination sparked a glimmer of hope. She remembered an old family heirloom, a talisman said to possess protective powers. With trembling hands, she retrieved it from the depths of a forgotten drawer, praying that it held the key to their salvation. As Emily clasped the talisman, a surge of energy coursed through her veins. The room filled with a blinding light, banishing the darkness that had taken hold. The scratching ceased, and the creature's laughter dissolved into a mournful wail. The family emerged from their barricade, cautiously stepping into the silence that followed. The storm outside had subsided, and the air felt calm once more. The sinister presence had vanished, leaving only the lingering memory of their harrowing ordeal. From that day forward, Emily's family held on to the talisman, a symbol of their triumph over the darkness. They knew they were forever changed by the encounter, but they also carried with them a newfound resilience, a testament to the strength of the human spirit when faced with unspeakable terror. And as the years passed, the village whispered of Emily's bravery, passing down her story as a cautionary tale. For even in the face of unimaginable fear, the power of love, determination, and a flicker of hope can vanquish the most malevolent of forces. In a quiet village nestled deep in the countryside, a young girl named Emily lived with her family. One stormy night, as the rain poured relentlessly outside, a sense of unease settled upon the house. Shadows danced ominously, and the wind howled like a wounded beast. As Emily lay in bed, trying to sleep, she heard a soft scratching sound coming from her bedroom window. Curiosity overcame her fear, and she cautiously approached the window to investigate. To her horror, she saw a pair of glowing eyes peering at her through the darkness, a sinister presence lurking just beyond the glass. Trembling, she closed the curtains and huddled under her blankets, hoping it was just her imagination playing tricks on her. But the scratching persisted, growing louder and more insistent. Emily's heart pounded in her chest as the sound echoed through the room, mingling with the storm's fury outside. She knew she couldn't ignore it any longer. Summoning her courage, Emily crept towards the window once more. As she peered outside, a flash of lightning illuminated the night, revealing a gaunt figure with gnarled fingers and a twisted grin. It was a creature straight from her worst nightmares, a malevolent presence that hungered for her soul. Terrified, Emily slammed the window shut, but the creature's laughter echoed through the house, mocking her feeble attempts to escape. It was a presence that thrived on fear, feeding on her terror as it prowled closer. Emily's family, awakened by her cries, rushed to her side. They were met with disbelief as Emily recounted her encounter with the sinister creature outside her window. But the fear in her eyes was undeniable, and they knew something wicked lurked in the darkness. Together, they sought refuge in the safety of the living room, barricading themselves inside. But the creature was relentless, scratching at the front door, demanding entry into their sanctuary. Its haunting laughter filled the air, driving them to the edge of madness. As the night wore on, the family grew weaker, their spirits crumbling under the relentless assault. They were trapped, imprisoned in their own home, at the mercy of a malevolent force they couldn't comprehend. But in the darkest hour, Emily's determination sparked a glimmer of hope. She remembered an old family heirloom, a talisman said to possess protective powers. With trembling hands, she retrieved it from the depths of a forgotten drawer, praying that it held the key to their salvation. As Emily clasped the talisman, a surge of energy coursed through her veins. The room filled with a blinding light, banishing the darkness that had taken hold. The scratching ceased, and the creature's laughter dissolved into a mournful wail. The family emerged from their barricade, cautiously stepping into the silence that followed. The storm outside had subsided, and the air felt calm once more. The sinister presence had vanished, leaving only the lingering memory of their harrowing ordeal. From that day forward,
Emily's family held onto the talisman, a symbol of their triumph over the darkness. They knew they were forever changed by the encounter, but they also carried with them a newfound resilience, a testament to the strength of the human spirit when faced with unspeakable terror. And as the years passed, the village whispered of Emily's bravery, passing down her story as a cautionary tale. For even in the face of unimaginable fear, the power of love, determination, and a flicker of hope can vanquish the most malevolent of forces.
In a small town nestled among the rolling hills, there was an old abandoned circus. Its faded tents and rusty attractions stood as a haunting reminder of a bygone era. Locals whispered tales of strange occurrences and the lingering presence of something not quite right within its crumbling walls. One fateful night, a group of curious teenagers decided to venture into the desolate circus grounds. Armed with flashlights and nerves of steel, they pushed open the creaking gates and stepped into a world frozen in time. The air hung heavy with an eerie silence as they explored the abandoned rides and forgotten carnival games. But as they delved deeper into the heart of the circus, a sense of unease settled over them, like a shroud of darkness. A flickering light caught their attention, a lone spotlight illuminating a worn, tattered curtain. Drawn by its mysterious allure, they approached cautiously, their hearts pounding with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. With a collective breath, they parted the curtains and entered the tent, their flashlight beams cutting through the thick fog that enveloped the space. The dim light revealed rows of dilapidated seats and a stage set for a performance that would never come. But as they stood there, a haunting melody filled the air, an eerie music that seemed to emanate from nowhere and everywhere all at once. It grew louder and more discordant, sending shivers down their spines. Suddenly, the spotlight flared to life, illuminating the stage. In its harsh glow, they saw figures, distorted, twisted figures with contorted limbs and malevolent smiles. Their eyes gleamed with an unholy light, fixed on the intruders who had disturbed their eternal slumber. Panic seized the teenagers as they tried to flee, but the tent seemed to stretch and warp, trapping them within its nightmarish grasp. The disfigured figures closed in, their grotesque forms moving with an unnatural grace. Laughter, both maniacal and sorrowful, filled the air, drowning out their screams. With each passing moment, the circus twisted into a labyrinth of horrors. Mirrors reflected distorted reflections, distorting their own perception of reality. Illusions danced in their peripheral vision, toying with their sanity. The very fabric of the tent seemed alive, pulsating with a malevolent energy. Desperation set in as the teenagers realized there was no escape, no reprieve from the nightmarish spectacle unfolding around them. The twisted performers closed in, their intentions sinister, and their hunger insatiable. But just as all hope seemed lost, a glimmer of courage sparked within the group. They banded together, their will to survive overpowering the suffocating fear. With newfound strength, they fought back against the horrors that sought to claim them. One by one, they broke free from the suffocating grip of the circus, their determination guiding them through the maze of horrors. With each step, the nightmarish world crumbled, its illusions shattered by their resilience. As they burst through the gates, leaving the circus behind, they collapsed to the ground, gasping for breath. The town greeted them with open arms, relieved that they had returned from the grip of the haunted circus. Years passed, and the old circus remained an abandoned relic, a testament to the bravery of those who had defied its malevolence. The legends of the cursed grounds continued to circulate, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurked within. And though the teenagers had escaped the clutches of the haunted circus, they carried the weight of their harrowing ordeal. The memories of those twisted figures haunted their dreams, a constant reminder of the terrors they had endured. Night after night, they would wake in a cold sweat, the echoes of that haunting melody still ringing in their ears. The town, too, bore the scars of the circus's legacy. Strange occurrences plagued its residents, unexplained noises, flickering lights, and fleeting glimpses of shadowy figures in the corners of their vision. The circus's presence lingered, a malevolent force that refused to be forgotten. But the bravery of those who had survived served as a beacon of hope. They formed a tight-knit community, supporting one another through the lingering trauma. Together, they vowed to uncover the truth behind the cursed circus and put an end to its reign of terror once and for all. With their resolve unyielding, the survivors embarked on a quest for answers. They delved into the town's archives, seeking any trace of the circus's history and the forces that had cursed it. They scoured forgotten journals, deciphered cryptic manuscripts, and sought guidance from those who had encountered similar horrors in the past. Through their research, they discovered the tragic tale of a once great magician who had fallen into darkness. Consumed by a thirst for power, he had made a pact with a malevolent entity, binding his soul to the circus grounds. In his quest for immortality, he had brought forth a curse that would forever haunt the town. Armed with this knowledge, the survivors devised a plan. They would perform a ritual, a sacred ceremony that would sever the magician's connection to the cursed circus. With each step meticulously planned, they gathered under the moonlit sky, determined to break the shackles of the past. As they chanted ancient incantations and lit the ceremonial fires, the very ground beneath them trembled. A maelstrom of energy swirled around the circus grounds, crackling with both fear and hope. The echoes of the haunting melody grew louder, battling against the strength of their voices. In a climactic surge of power, the curse finally broke. The circus trembled, its ethereal presence dissipating into the night. The survivors watched as the tents and attractions faded from sight, leaving behind only an empty field, forever freed from the darkness that had plagued it. The town rejoiced, relieved to be liberated from the haunting grip of the cursed circus. The nightmares that had plagued them for years began to fade, replaced by a newfound sense of peace. The survivors, forever bound by their shared ordeal, forged a deep bond, forever changed by the terrors they had faced. As the years passed, the haunted circus became a distant memory, a cautionary tale passed down through generations. The town thrived, its spirit unburdened by the weight of the past. The scars remained, but they were reminders of strength and resilience, a testament to the indomitable human spirit. And on clear, starlit nights, some claim to hear a faint echo of that haunting melody, carried on the wind. But it serves as a reminder of the victory won, a reminder that even in the face of unspeakable horrors, there is always hope, and the power to conquer the darkness that threatens to consume us.